Neil, how is everyone after international duty?
Well, the internationals have come back all fit and well, thankfully. So the only absentees we have are from the fallout from the Rangers game. Obviously, Near is going to be out for a few weeks with a hamstring strain, and Mikey with a groin injury. Jozo, the ongoing knee problem as well. So he's seeing a specialist today, and we'll get a referral from that after. When
you do have players coming back from international duty, some maybe on a high, some on a low, how do you try and get them all back together? Because there was a real good feel-good factor once they went on international duty.
Yeah, just to get them back on track with what we were trying to do, and you commiserate with some of them and you congratulate some of them, but then it's from yesterday onwards, it's back to concentrating on domestic duties and the club duties where they're well loved and well respected.
I know Steven Gerrard had an issue with Ryan Jack on international duty. Are you happy with the way your players were dealt with it at Scotland on international duty, fitness-wise?
Well, they've come back no problem. No injuries. They had the game, and then they were straight to the hotel. Maybe a recovery day, and then into the training. So maybe Stephen has an issue with that because of Ryan's injury, but thankfully we're injury free from that.
Is that always a worry when they go away and they're not under your control?
Yeah, I mean, it's part and parcel of being an international player. They can get injured here, they can get injured in training, they can get injured playing for us, or they get injured in training or for the national team playing. And yeah, of course, when you're during an international break, you're always on the phone, waiting for your physio to call you with hopefully good news rather than bad.
Have you been able to have a chance to reflect on the start of the season now and maybe think where you go next, or is it just a case of keep on going the way you've been going?
It's always, you always want to maintain the momentum. That's important. I think we had a really difficult month, which we, came out really well of, and obviously the transfer window's shut, and everything can sort of settle now. Obviously with the international break, it's been a bit sort of staggered with the players coming back, but we had everybody back yesterday. They're all in good spirits today, and we're looking forward to the game tomorrow now. And again, we've got a period of 6-7 games this month where it's very exciting. We made a great start. We're playing very well, and we just want to try and pick up where we left off.
Is it a case that you've got to very much take it each game at a time because your style of football is going to change when you go between domestic, when you'll dominate most games, to the European games?
Yeah. Well, in some of the games, I'd like to think the European games we can dominate the game as well. But we've got a good group in the Europa League, but a tough group. Tomorrow is the most important game because it's the next one, and we respect Hamilton. They punch well above their weight in this division. But we know that if we can win, then we set a really good early pace, and that's always important. And then that we can obviously focus our attentions on Rennes. But tomorrow is just what the last 48 hours have been all about, really, in terms of preparing the team, the players. Obviously, there'll be rotation as we go along, and we'll have to freshen things up a bit as we go along. But we've got good strength and depth now, coming out of the window. And I think sometimes new players coming in gives the current players who are already here a jag of energy and quality and a lift. So that's where we are at the minute.
When you've got the game on Thursday night in mind as well as an artificial pitch, do you need to manage some of the players tomorrow?
Well, obviously we talked about that, but I think in the majority of the players are fine playing on the artificial surface. In fact, some of them from particularly the Scandinavian countries have probably been brought up on artificial surfaces. So yeah, we've checked that out, and in the main, the 95% of the squad are fine.
Neil, how do you assess the transfer window closed now? Do you think you got all the positions that you needed?
I mean, you always look for more, but really happy with where we've sort of needed an improvement right up until Greg coming in. That was a really good bit of business from the club as well. So we knew that defensively that we lost some really good players in the summer, and some of the loan players going back as well. And we feel with some of the year-long loans that were brought in, there's a hunger to get their career up and going again, and to show the qualities that they had before. So there's been a bit of sort of thinking behind that process in terms of the individual players that were brought in, and you see now that the players that we've bought are settling in and getting acclimatised to the rigours and the demands of the environment here.
And Greg Taylor, what sort of player are you getting there?
Well, you know what sort of player he is. He's very consistent left back at SPFL level, to the point where he's had a real emergence, over the last 2 years, and to the point where he's regular in the Scotland squad now at tender age of 21, 22. So hopefully he can carry on the progress he's made over the last 2 years with us, and I like his consistency. Technically he's a very good player, and he's got a real hunger to do well here.
Over the condensed period that you've got, Neil, you've kind of touched on it there, but does this give an opportunity to some players who maybe haven't had a lot of game time or have been on the fringes, that you will have to rotate the squad and look at kind of mixing things up if you are jumping between Europa League and back to the Premiership?
Yeah, but I mean, we've done that last month. We had sort of Champions League qualifiers, Europa League qualifiers, we had League Cup game against Dunfermline, and we had the 4 domestic league games. So this month's very much going to be similar to the last month, where we did change it, sometimes through necessity, whether we rotate it for freshness or we may pick up an injury here or there. What I've got now is strength and depth in a number of positions, and also some of the boys, the long-term boys who have been out. Tom Rodgick, he's fit now as well, so that's a welcome boost to the squad as well, a player of that quality.
I was going to ask Neil, Scott Brown was talking yesterday about the abuse that he received outside of Ibrox after the Old Firm game. He's saying that the kind of sort of abuse is nothing new in his career. What was your take on what happened, and have you spoken to Scott about it?
Yeah, I've had a brief chat with him about it. I think he handled the situation very well. I think it's awful, horrendous, and I don't know the ins and outs of it, but seemingly it's a 15-year-old boy, so where the mindset of that is if that's a social problem. But for a 15-year-old to even think about saying something like that, let alone say it, is horrendous. And I applaud Rangers for the swift action that they took and the support that a lot of their fans have given to Scott, but it's got to stop. There's just no call for that. I mean, we're talking not only here, in Britain now, there seems to be this uprising and, a lot of racism. Again, it's rearing its ugly head. We have a sectarian problem here, we know that. We're 95% of supporters here are really good, and like Scott said yesterday, he doesn't mind during the game, but when we're out and about in the streets and trying to live our lives, you're not at a football ground. They have no right to abuse or insult people in that manner, in any capacity, never mind in a footballing capacity.
How hard is it at times not to react?
Well, incredibly hard. I don't know what I'd have done. I'm older now, and Scott's a lot more mature. Maybe 5-6 years ago it might have been a different outcome. I don't know what that lad was trying to prove or what his thought process were, if he had one at all. But it's disgusting.
Scott talked about social media and how that's made the abuse worse.
I think sometimes it makes young ones think that it's all right, and it's not. And again, we are having people in authority and footballing authorities and players of the highest calibre asking social media networks to clamp down on it. It has to stop, because there's no accountability or responsibility to these individuals to basically put out on a public forum what they want to say. We all live in a democracy, but there has to be a line drawn somewhere, because it's against the law. It's illegal, and these platforms allow this illegality to happen.
Did you find yourself, maybe used to use it a wee bit, Twitter and stuff in the past, coming off it because of
Yeah,
that sort of stuff?
I got off it. One, it took up too much of my time. 2, you played with my head at times, and 3, it could be quite upsetting at times as well. We're decent human beings, believe it or not, the majority of us, but we're prepared to be something else by people who don't know us.
Is that something you speak to the players here about?
We do. We have IT people here and people who have experienced this, just to be careful. Obviously there's a lot of good things that come out of social media as well. The lads do a lot of charity work, or promote charities and stuff like that, but this underbelly leaves a very, very bitter taste in the mouth at times, and can be quite upsetting for individuals.
Especially about Hamilton, Obviously Brian Rice has tried to change their style a wee bit and make them more positive attacking. Do you anticipate a different sort of game against them tomorrow than maybe in the past?
Possibly. I mean, they had a great result at Tynecastle, where by all accounts they were, having watched some of the game, they were unfortunate not to get a win. So off the back of what was a disappointing result against Motherwell, where they were down to 10 men, they bounced back, and that's what Hamilton do. Like I said, they punch well above the weight. They get results at times when they need to, and off the back of us having a great win, 2 weeks ago, we have to make sure we don't take a foot off the pedal or be complacent or, don't go with the right mindset, because, on any given day we can get beaten. So we have to be right at it from the first whistle. It's an early kick-off, so we're well prepared for that as well.
Just going back to new signings, is El Yunusi fully fit, ready to play?
Yes.
Yeah? What can he bring to the starting team that you don't already have?
It's a good question. He's a bit different. He can play, right. He can play off the striker. He can play left. He's smart. He's got a goal in him. Technically, he's a good player. He'll just add, I think, to the quality that we already have. And obviously, with Michael being out, who's been our starting sort of left-sided winger, then Mo's got a chance of being in contention for a starting place.
And do you think bringing in the extra signings, wingers, full-backs, can that make everyone up their game because there's competition for places, no one's place is safe?
I think, you don't want to spook them in that regard, and make them play under pressure. But, in terms of, cajoling them on a little bit, that's what you want. Or if we get an injury, then we've got a very good player to come in, just as we have at the minute. You've got Sinclair, you've got Hayes, you've got Morgan can occupy that position as well as Mo, who can do a varying degree of positions off the striker. So he's a quality player. He lost as well a little bit, but you never lose the ability. So it's up to me and my staff to tap into that again.
Is Chris Ayer fully fit?
Chris is fit, yeah. So again, he'll be in contention. So it's great to have that in depth. Beaton did a brilliant job for us. Unfortunately, we've lost him for a few weeks, but he can be really happy with his level of performances over the recent games, and the quicker we get him back, the better as well.
It's been a tough time for the international team over the last week. Should we be concerned in this country going forward in terms of the national team, or do you feel things will get there eventually?
I've been here 20 years, and we've been having this discussion every campaign. And again, my own opinion, and it's nothing to do with Alex or Steve, Gordon had a good process going. He had a platform, he had a style of play. They were unbeaten in 7 or 8 games, competitive. They just missed out on the playoff place to, I think it was Slovakia, very close to beating England. And there was momentum there, and that's all been taken away. And these, the guys after Gordon have had to sort of pick up and start again. So it's doable. There's still, the playoff to think about, and obviously Steve wants to finish the group as well as possible. But I think, behind the scenes, and we said that for a long time, that, they need to start getting the bigger decisions correctly rather than knee-jerk reactions or listening to the public opinion at times.
Neil, how pleased have you been with the succession planning that's went into this window, with some of the new signings potentially being fully integrated by the time the European qualification comes next year?
Well, like I say, I'm really pleased with the outcome of the window. Also, I have to touch on Jeremy Frimpong and Leo Connor coming in as well. So you can see that we're planning for the future. And that's important because the market has changed. So we're delighted to get those two into the building, and we've got Connell, we've got Okoflex, we've got Dembele coming through as well. So it augurs well in that aspect. But in terms of the first team squad currently, I'm really happy with the hard work, and a lot of hard work's gone into getting the players done. And we have a healthy squad with talent in forward areas, and hopefully good strong defenders and quality players on the ball.
Peter said that when you were appointed you had one of the best eyes for a player that he's seen. Is there anyone that's been standout in the short time you've had to work with them since came in?
Of the new players? I've been just delighted with Hatem. You know, I think he's settled very well. And Bolly now is starting to see real fruits of his progression and quality. And Christopher's looking great, and obviously they're going to take a lot of confidence from their performance 2 weeks ago. I've got a good goalkeeper. Well, I've got 3 good goalkeepers, but you know, Fraser coming in as well just bolsters that position. So yeah, I'm very, very pleased with the quality of player, and what that does, like I said earlier, is it gives the current ones who have already been here, you know, a good shot of confidence and a good shot in the arm. And yeah, I mean, the balance of the squad is very good at the minute.
Neil, how's Lee Griffiths wasn't included in the Scotland squad? Is he now championing a bit to get into that next Scotland squad against Russia?
Yeah, but again, he's just a work in progress, Lee. You know, he's had a long time out, and maybe, you know, these round of games were a little bit too soon for him, and maybe, you know, he'd probably be honest with himself to say, you know, the next round's probably when he's looking forward to playing, and he needs more game time here, but he needs to keep working away at what he's doing.